And Cardi B is a star. And that's what people got to realize. Just because she's a star, men just don't give a damn what you are. If they don't like you, they don't like you. Oh, honey, because, I mean, she's a big star. She got all the money and stuff, but you still messing with these damn regular women and having children with them and stuff. And she out there at the game, parading, spending millions of damn dollars like a fool behind him, and he still don't care.
He allegedly gets the same woman pregnant again and flips the Super Bowl into a full-blown revenge stage. At first, people brush it off like it is just a messy breakup after that rough 29-13 loss. But then the family count starts rising, and the football field turns into a loud message board for the whole world to see. Now insiders are pushing one story hard, while engagement rumors are floating around just days before kickoff. Something is not adding up, and fans can feel it. Stefon Diggs is reportedly expanding his family in private with a woman who once sued him over paternity, and Cardi B allegedly finds out right before the biggest game of the year. The energy shifts fast on February 9th after Super Bowl 50. They unfollow each other without warning. She gives a cold "good luck," walks out after halftime, and he stays planted on the field, while another woman tells him "I love you" on official NFL footage. Paternity with alien Lapper is confirmed in November. Legal. Charges tied to a dispute are still pending, and a $20 million base salary is hanging in the balance. Meanwhile, engagement whispers are moving around, but they do not match the silence that suddenly takes over.
As the New England Patriots are heading for the playoffs and having an incredible season, their star wide receiver, Stefon Diggs, of course, not just incredible NFL player, but also Cardi B's father of Cardi B's latest child. She was at his latest game. And
what we didn't know,
what we didn't know as that game was going.
If this is the public version, the private fallout is about to hit even harder, because once the cameras shut off and the confetti settles, the timeline starts lining up in a way that feels less like heartbreak and more like a calculated move. Just days before February 9th, he is openly playing with engagement talk, telling reporters it is on the agenda. Meanwhile, she is possibly gearing up for a halftime cameo at Levi's Stadium, and that picture together screams stability and power. It looks polished on the outside, but behind the scenes, the vibe feels different. Then the mood shifts at the Fanatics party. When ESPN asks her to share a message, she keeps it short and icy. Good luck on game day. That is it. No warmth, no extra words. She dances during the Apple Music. Halftime show, leaves the field, and according to people around her, does not come back for the second half. Within hours of the Patriots' 29-13 loss to the Seahawks, both accounts quietly hit unfollow. The public excuse says emotions run high after a defeat, but the timing feels way too sharp to ignore. Industry sources say the shift starts before kickoff, and it has nothing to do with the scoreboard. This is where the story stops making clean sense. On the same field where she just performed, another woman is standing within arm's reach of his inner circle. She is wearing an all-access badge to the Patriots team hotel, caught on camera telling him she loves him while official NFL cameras are rolling. That moment does not look accidental. It looks bold. The clip spreads before sunrise, and social media lights up fast. She is not some random face in the crowd. People connect her to Offset's past, to old accusations, to previous betrayal headlines that never fully faded. She is standing right beside his mother, and the placement feels intentional. Sources close to the situation say those passes are not handed out casually during Super Bowl week, especially not to someone outside the roster or immediate family at a moment that public. Meanwhile, engagement whispers are still floating around online, but visually, he is aligned with a totally different storyline. If the breakup is already in motion, why stage that kind of proximity? And if it is not, why risk the optics? The whole scene lands like a message without words, and the silence from both sides feels heavier than any caption ever could.
I would say he should have cleared up front that, hey, this person's going to be here. This person means something to me. She's going to be here. You know, right. You got it. What's your saying? And everything you get an understanding.
Yeah, out of all you're getting, get an understanding. And then govern yourself accordingly to the understanding.
Because they're all adults. At the end of the day, they're all adults. And if she knows that he got kids with other women.
Do the other baby mama have to come?
The official story floating through mainstream coverage keeps everything neat and simple. A couple under pressure after a tough loss decides to separate. An ET source confirms they recently broke up, adding, they could reconcile. It sounds calm, almost gentle, but the details refuse to stay quiet. They keep pushing back. Back in November, paternity with Aileen, Lapper is confirmed after she files suit, claiming he is the father of her daughter born in April. His legal team requests a genetic test. The results come in. The case gets dismissed in January. That part is documented and clean on paper. But what people are whispering now is that confirmation did not close the chapter. It restarted it. Insiders claim she is expecting again, which would make this the second confirmed parent connection with the same woman who already took him to court. That allegation does not pop up randomly. It surfaces right when engagement speculation is peaking and just before the Super Bowl spectacle explodes onto the world stage. That timing feels like the pressure point, and the pressure does not stop there. In December, separate from the family drama, he faces felony and misdemeanor charges involving a private chef with an arraignment scheduled for February 13th in Dedham District Court. The Patriots release a public statement backing him. His base salary sits at $20 million. While debate is already heating up about whether he stays a #1 receiver next season. Now stack that against confirmed parent responsibilities across multiple households. 4. Arriving in a tight window across 2024 and 2025. The financial math starts crowding the storyline fast. League insiders say this is not just personal turbulence. It is leverage, liability, and reputation all colliding in the same week. So when rumors of another pregnancy surface, they do not feel like casual gossip. They feel like a multiplier effect. And if she finds out before the game, then the Super Bowl stops being just a championship. It turns into something way more personal and way more explosive.
Turns out there was a possible felony case against Stefon Diggs that came to fruition.
Right, it came to fruition on Christmas Eve, actually, is when police went to talk to him about the accusation that he had slapped and choked his private chef earlier in December.
Cardi B's moves start to look very different when you see them through that lens. On February 11th, she posts polished glam shots thanking Airbnb, glowing with confidence and control. Not one mention of him, not even a hint. That silence speaks loud. At first, her Instagram still has the older photos up. Then suddenly the interaction settings tighten. Comments get filtered, energy shifts. Days later, she leans into the Little Miss drama-free vibe, pushing a strong me versus me mantra after welcoming a new addition in November. That arrival came just weeks after the paternity confirmation with Lapper. The timeline feels compressed, almost overwhelming. One new arrival at home, another legal acknowledgement outside it, and now whispers of even more expansion circling around. Friends say she draws a hard line when it comes to public embarrassment. She has already lived through Offset's infidelity accusations, a very public divorce, and still managed to co-parent 3 family members with maturity. That is not small pressure. So to stand on a field in front of millions while a woman connected to past drama looks at her partner and says, "I love you" on camera, that is not background noise. That is a flashpoint the official narrative tries to call it coincidence. But the reactions around her suggest it lands like confirmation of something much deeper.
I want to have more kids.
You do?
Yeah.
More kids? That sounds like many.
I mean, you know how whatever my body could take and I feel like I can take.
The silence, the timing, the optics, none of it feels random. It feels personal, and it feels loud without a single word being said. Behind the scenes, league insiders are watching this unfold like it is more than celebrity drama. They see contracts, endorsements, locker room chemistry, and front office politics all tangled together. When personal headlines start bleeding into game week, it stops being private and starts affecting brand value. And right now, the brand is under a spotlight. Team executives publicly stand firm, but privately, there is always risk management. A $20 million base salary is not pocket change. Sponsors look at stability, owners look at distractions, coaches look at focus. When confirmed paternity, legal issues, and relationship drama all collide within the same season, people start asking quiet questions out loud. At the same time, engagement talk that once sounded romantic now feels strategic. Was it genuine or was it image control? Because when whispers of another pregnancy hit at the exact moment championship cameras are rolling, it changes the temperature. That is not just timing, that is impact. For Cardi, the play seems different. She tightens her circle, she controls her visuals. She speaks through curated posts instead of messy interviews. That is not weakness, that is power. If she knew before kickoff, then every move after looks calculated, not emotional. And if she did not know, then the field became the place where everything shifted in real time. Either way, the Super Bowl was no longer just about football. It became a stage where love, loyalty, reputation, and money all collided at once. And this is where people really start asking questions about control. Was that field access pure coincidence, or was it a response to something that already went down? Did a confrontation happen behind closed doors before kickoff? Industry insiders describe heated exchanges earlier in the week, claiming she refused to play the supportive fiancé role after learning what was allegedly unfolding. If that is true, then the Super Bowl visuals hit very differently. Suddenly, that alignment on the field does not feel random. It feels pointed, it feels retaliatory. He is known for intensity, both on and off the field. Teammates describe him as competitive, sometimes bordering on combustible. When engagement talk circulates publicly, it builds a clean, powerful image. But when that image cracks in private, ego can step into the driver's seat, and bringing another woman into close proximity on the biggest stage in sports sends a message without ever holding a microphone. But here is the risk. When cameras capture everything, every glance, and every word, retaliation does not stay private. It becomes footage. It becomes replay. It becomes evidence in the court of public opinion. And once that clip is out, there's no pulling it back.
Moves on top of moves on top of moves until the move that you make grants you to be the king. Checkmate or kingmate.
Kingmate.
You dig what I'm saying? It's all a game. Hey, what I say? It's all entertainment, baby. It's all entertainment. It's all entertainment.
The backlash hits fast and loud. 50 Cent jumps online and mocks him, joking that he lost the Super Bowl and his woman in the same night. Fans start counting the family connections with different mothers, numbers climbing in comment sections. Commentators even question whether a $20 million salary can stretch across growing obligations. The internet does not miss a beat. At the same time, his attorney firmly denies the misconduct allegations, insisting they never happened. The team doubles down on public support. Each statement tries to stabilize one corner of the story, but another corner keeps cracking. Old engagement hints still float around in archived interviews. The unfollow is still visible. Nothing disappears. The paternity confirmation is documented. The alleged second pregnancy hangs in the air like a storm cloud, with no press release attached. When multiple realities exist at once, simple breakup headlines feel weak. The split cannot be separated from the bigger pattern building around him. Yet the silence around one specific detail feels louder than any official statement. If the rumor of a second pregnancy with Lapper is false, it would be easy to shut down. A clear denial, a sharp rebuttal, done. Instead, there is no direct dismissal. The focus shifts back to football, to tour dates, to business as usual. That timing feels tight. Paternity confirmed in November. A new arrival with Cardi also taking place in November. Charges filed in December. Super Bowl in February. Unfollow within hours of the loss. That is not spread across years. That is compressed into one intense season. People inside entertainment circles say this rupture is not just about jealousy. It is about narrative control. Who speaks first? Who frames the split? Who absorbs the embarrassment and who redirects attention? That Super Bowl field moment does not feel random under that lens. It feels like an attempt to redirect the spotlight before it turns fully on him.
About this, there was a court hearing today.
Correct.
And
he did not appear in court, right?
He did not, but his attorney did remotely and said, look, we got a statement from the attorney saying, all this is nonsense, this never happened, this is just because this woman is trying to get paid, and she made these allegations all up.
Did he enter plea today?
No.
Now the bigger question starts bubbling up. Who actually benefits from the chaos? Because when headlines stack this fast, somebody always ends up controlling the final storyline. From the outside, it looks like everything explodes at once. Relationship fallout, paternity confirmations, legal drama, contract debates. But inside media circles, timing is everything. When stories drop close together, they compete with each other. One headline can bury another. One spectacle can distract from paperwork. That is not conspiracy talk. That is how publicity cycles work. If engagement rumors were floating days before the Super Bowl, that builds a fairy tale image. If breakup whispers hit right after, that shifts sympathy. If pregnancy rumors surface at the same time legal issues are pending, attention gets split in multiple directions. Suddenly, no single issue dominates the conversation. Meanwhile, Cardi's strategy appears quieter but sharper. She posts selectively, she limits interaction. She moves like someone protecting her brand, not feeding chaos. That kind of silence can be louder than a press conference. For him, the pressure is different. Performance on the field becomes tied to performance off it. Every dropped pass, every sideline reaction, every camera cut carries extra weight. When reputation, money, and family headlines all collide, football stops being just football. So this chapter of the saga is not about who said what, it is about positioning. It is about who controls the narrative when the dust settles. And right now, the dust has not even started to settle. Now the question gets sharper. If this was an ego move that backfires, what happens next? Because stacking legal pressure, financial strain, and expanding fatherhood, all while flirting with engagement headlines, creates a level of volatility that does not disappear with one simple unfollow. That kind of tension builds, it does not fade. The arraignment date gets closer. The tour schedule rolls forward. The Patriots continue evaluating contracts behind closed doors, and somewhere in the middle of that storm sits talk of an alleged seventh family addition, a detail that completely raises the stakes if true. The public version says 2 adults split after a tough loss. Clean and simple, easy to package. But the pattern forming underneath feels bigger than that. It feels like a reckoning building quietly behind closed doors, because when the Super Bowl becomes a stage for a message, intentional or not, it stops being private. It becomes global, and once everything spills into public view, containment disappears. Right now, containment is exactly what this situation does not have.
For a player.
Well, it's not unexpected in this case because I think, they support their players in these situations. And this one, again, I don't want to give my opinion on it, but it sounds like a lot of he said, she said types of things. So with that, perhaps maybe the Patriots know more, at least from the side of Diggs, and are good with that, saying that we support him. And I think, again, they'll wait. But for now, he's on this football team, and they'll just take it that way.
What makes this even harder to ignore is that the pattern did not start this season. It stretches back years, quietly building a portfolio of parallel households that are now colliding under a spotlight he cannot dim. There is Nova from his rookie era, then Shiloh, then a family addition with Kiana Barber, then another family addition with Kai Benji, then the confirmed daughter with Aileen Lapper, then the recent arrival with Cardi. That is the public count laid out in plain view. Now add the allegation of another pregnancy with the same woman who already took him to court. Insiders say the repetition matters more than the number. 1 pregnancy can be explained away as overlap. 2 with the same person after legal action feels different. It suggests continued involvement, and when that alleged involvement overlaps with public engagement energy, it starts looking less like chaos and more like compartmentalization. Each compartment works until someone opens the wrong door. That Super Bowl moment suggests a door opened in front of the entire world. And now, inside league circles, the talk shifts from romance to risk management. A wide receiver with a $20 million base salary carries expectations beyond catches and yards. Sponsors track behavior. Teams calculate. Liabilities. Front offices think long-term. Multiple custody arrangements across state lines do more than complicate calendars. They impact financial planning, contract leverage, and public image. When a paternity suit appears, it makes headlines. When the suit resolves and rumors of another pregnancy follow, it starts to look like a pattern instead of an accident. And sitting in the background, unresolved, are the legal charges tied to a dispute, increasing scrutiny. Each new layer does not replace the last one, it stacks on top. The spotlight gets brighter, the margin for error gets smaller, and the story becomes less about one breakup and more about a structure that may be cracking under its own weight. Teams can defend an athlete against allegations. What they struggle to defend is a growing narrative of instability. The Patriots can publicly support him, but support is not immunity. If performance slips while controversy rises, the math changes fast. Front office voices admit optics matter just as much as stats in a league built on brand control and image discipline. And right now, the optics look split. On his side, chaotic. On her side, curated but strategic. She frames this era as personal growth, spotlighting her tour, motherhood, and rebuilding after divorce. When she announced her November arrival, she spoke about new chapters and stepping into a better version of herself. That language felt intentional. Now layer that message against whispers of a second pregnancy outside her home. It hits different. She has already endured public betrayal once. Absorbing years of accusations tied to Offset while staying visible and composed, insiders say she does not repeat history quietly. If she learned about the alleged expansion before kickoff, then every move afterward carries weight. Her exit from the stadium does not read like heartbreak. It reads like a boundary. The unfollow does not look emotional. It looks like a signal. People close to her insist she calculates her silence carefully. When she pulls back publicly, it usually means the real conversations have shifted behind closed doors. The real decisions get made away from cameras. The real strategy unfolds in private. The only question now is whether this situation crossed a line too public to contain, because once a narrative escapes into full view, even the most controlled silence cannot always pull it back.
What I'm saying is, if I felt like my girl was cheating, I'm gonna get it off of these two. If I felt like my girl was cheating and she said these things to dispel my thought, it would not be dispelled.
No, at all.
It would actually.
There is also the ego factor. Teammates have described Diggs as hyper-competitive, driven by perception almost as much as performance. Engagement talk right before a championship game builds a fairy tale storyline that matches athletic ambition perfectly. Power couple energy, victory energy, unity on the biggest stage. But if that storyline cracks midweek because of a confrontation, humiliation becomes part of the equation. People close to him say he hates losing control of the narrative. If a partner refuses to stand in formation, especially on a stage built for public unity, the response can be subtle but intentional. Standing beside women connected to past controversies sends a message without ever saying a word. In the moment, it can feel like control, like dominance, like shifting embarrassment from one side to the other. But retaliation in the era of instant replay moves fast. What feels powerful at night can turn into public ridicule by sunrise. The internet does not pause to process nuance, it counts. It screenshots. It tallies optics like numbers on a scoreboard. And this time, the scoreboard seems to favor spectacle over stability.
That it was to the point where she felt like she could have blacked out.
So she goes to the police December 16th.
Yes, and they say that she was hesitant in the incident report because she knew that he was a high-profile athlete and a member of the Patriots. She was going back and forth on whether she wanted to move forward with charges, but she laid all this out and explained it to them. On December 20th, she said, look, I want to move forward.
The LA Opera connection makes this whole situation feel heavier. She is not some random rumor floating around online. She is a documented litigant whose attorney confirmed paternity was established. Her filing asked for custody and financial support, then was later withdrawn. Once confirmation is secured, that is legal acknowledgement. That is paperwork, not gossip. Now insiders claim the relationship never fully ended. They say communication continued, meetings continued, and allegedly pregnancy continued. If that is true, then the engagement talk starts looking like theater instead of romance. And if it is not true, then someone clearly benefits from letting that rumor sit in the air without shutting it down. Either way, when two women are linked to the same man within months of each other's family milestones, silence fuels speculation fast. At that point, the story stops sounding like love drama and starts sounding like rotation. And rotation implies planning. Planning implies awareness. That clashes hard with the image of someone blindsided by circumstances. Then add financial reality. Multiple households require structured support. Legal defense costs and criminal court proceedings add more weight. If his role on the team shifts, earnings projections shift with it. Sports management sources say the real fear is not instant collapse, it is long-term dilution. Contracts expire, injuries happen. Performance can dip, but obligations stay locked in place. Filing for paternity while he is still active in the league is described by insiders as strategic. That word is not judgment, it is acknowledgement of how leverage works in real life. And if the alleged second pregnancy is true, it secures another long-term commitment before the next contract negotiation even begins. That is leverage. Whether anyone says it out loud or not, when personal leverage and professional leverage start overlapping, pressure builds. And when too many pressures stack at once, even a small misstep can create cracks big enough for the whole world to see.
From what I'm seeing on the stand, it's not really going together very well for her purpose in searching after some of these charges.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need a lawyer who's very confident. And I think she has that, but I think everything else, I mean, you can have confidence, but you need something to support that confidence in. And it's just not playing out very well. He's having a lot of trouble in the examination.
The legal charge adds a whole different layer to the situation. In December, accusations surfaced claiming he choked and hit a private chef during a money dispute, with an arraignment still pending. His attorney denies the claims outright. But the public does not separate categories neatly. People do not split domestic turbulence from legal allegations. When they evaluate character, they stack everything together. One storyline suggests volatility in relationships. Another suggests volatility in conflict. Combined, they shape an image that teams, sponsors, and partners are forced to examine closely. Cardi's brand thrives on spectacle, but not on instability that overshadows her own platform. If she feels that association threatens her next era, distance becomes more than emotion. It becomes strategy. Walking away from a relationship under heavy scrutiny protects future endorsements, tour momentum, and long-term positioning. Staying could mean being pulled into courtrooms and headlines she does not control. That is a serious calculation. There is also the dynamic inside blended families. Reports claim everyone gets along. Holiday photos show multiple mothers and family members sharing space peacefully. That supports a modern, harmonious narrative. But harmony under financial pressure and emotional strain takes discipline. If Lapper is allegedly expecting again, that balance shifts. It signals not just overlap, but possible preference. Preference can spark resentment, and resentment can lead to exposure. In circles where private details travel faster than official statements, it only takes one frustrated voice to shift the entire story. Insiders say Super Bowl week is when tensions peak, when everyone flies in, when proximity increases, and when pressure, pride, and unresolved issues all collide in the same city. The smallest spark can light up everything. Access increases during Super Bowl week. Private conversations spill into semi-public spaces. That is the perfect setup for confrontation. And when confrontation lands on top of rumors that are already circulating, fallout moves fast. Her departure from the stadium starts to feel symbolic in hindsight. It was never just about halftime, it was about refusal. Refusal to sit through optics that clash with what she allegedly learned. Refusal to smile for a post-game unity storyline. She showed up, performed, fulfilled her obligation, and left. That decision echoed online because in high-profile relationships, absence can scream louder than presence. If she wanted to control the breakup narrative, exiting first matters, timing matters, optics matter, and if he wanted to neutralize that control, then public alignment with other women also carries weight. That shifts the conflict away from affection and into perception. Who looks rejected? Who looks replaced? Who looks untouched? The internet decides instantly, screenshots spread, clips loop, opinions lock in within minutes. But insiders say the real battle does not happen in comment sections. It happens in private text threads, in late-night calls, in legal consultations that follow once emotions cool and strategy kicks in. Because when pride, reputation, and money all collide, perception becomes a tool, and every move gets measured twice.
The internet always causes unnecessary problems, unnecessary disagreements, unnecessary things, because a lot of the stuff on the internet and on the line isn't true. So I would just say they need to have that conversation, a real conversation. I'm not leaving this room until it's done, and those are the toughest conversations. When your wife wants to have a conversation, those are the toughest things because you got to put everything on the table. That's the only way something's going to work. Everything has to go on the table for you to possibly be able to move on, and I'm hoping that they can.
Now, everything moves into the aftermath phase. The stadium lights shut off, the crowd goes home, but the real consequences start unfolding behind closed doors. Because once a public fracture happens at that level, there is no pretending it was minor. Lawyers begin tightening language, publicists start shaping statements, agents look at endorsement clauses and morality provisions. Every contract gets reviewed with fresh eyes. That is how high-stakes situations operate when image and income are tied together. For him, the focus has to snap back to performance. Off-season training, media availability, damage control. But the noise does not disappear just because the season ends. If anything, downtime gives critics more room to talk. Every rumor fills the silence unless it is addressed directly. For her, momentum becomes protection. Touring, branding, controlled interviews. She does not need to attack, she just needs to elevate. That kind of glow-up energy can shift sympathy without saying a single harsh word. Meanwhile, insiders suggest that what the public sees is only a fraction of the negotiations happening privately. Custody conversations, financial structuring, reputation management, none of that trends online, but all of it shapes what comes next. So this phase is about fallout management, not emotion, not romance, strategy. Because when spectacle fades, structure decides who stands steady and who starts scrambling. And right now, both sides are moving carefully, knowing one wrong step could reset the entire narrative all over again. What still feels unsettling is how neatly the alleged second pregnancy explains the speed of the collapse. Engagement talk to unfollow within days points to a trigger event, not a slow drift apart. There is already a confirmed legal connection with one woman. That part is documented. Now add an alleged renewed pregnancy with that same woman. That is not random gossip. That is continuity. And continuity suggests ongoing communication. If exclusivity is being projected publicly while contact continues privately, the narrative cracks wide open. If she discovers that suddenly, the reaction would not be subtle. It would be swift. And swift reactions send public signals. Those signals ripple across sports shows, entertainment blogs, locker rooms, and label offices. The story stops being personal and starts becoming institutional. Teams evaluate, sponsors review, media amplifies. But the most explosive detail is still the one nobody has officially addressed. Is there actually another expected family addition tied to the same woman who already established paternity? If yes, that reshapes everything. If no, why let the rumor breathe this long without shutting it down? Was the Super Bowl field moment retaliation or coincidence? Was it ego, strategy, or pure timing? Is Cardi protecting her next chapter or calculating her clean exit? And if league executives and sponsors start running new numbers, who feels the pressure first? This does not feel like it ends with an unfollow. It feels like the first move in a much bigger shift playing out in real time. Drop your thoughts and theories in the comments. Pick a side if you have one. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this breakdown, and I will see you on the next one.